Welcome to BCHL Central on VBN Sports. I'm your host, Jacob Esterbrewer. On this week's show, I'll be chatting with Barry Douglas, Director of Marketing for the Chilliwack Chiefs, and this week's Player Spotlight shines on Bo Piper of the Coquitlam Express. Welcome back to the show. I'm now joined by Barry Douglas, Director of Marketing for the Chilliwack Chiefs. Barry, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, and thanks to Wayne and the crew for doing this show, doing what all they do.
You wear numerous hats for the Chilliwack Chiefs. I think that's probably understating it a bit. I want to talk a little bit about all of them, but first we want to talk about something that's very important to the Chiefs organization, right down from ownership, right down to the players, and that's community involvement, something I know you're deeply involved in.
Yeah, and I'm very passionate about as well. Is when the Brew family moved the Chiefs to Chilliwack back in the summer of 1990, one of their first objectives was being a big part of the community, and I think when Harvey Smeal came on board as well, he carried on that tradition, and when I was fortunate enough to come on board with Harv, he kind of instilled that philosophy in my head, and Rich Brew as well, and that has never left me, just trying to make sure we do everything we possibly can for the community of Chilliwack, and whether it's going for an autograph session, or whether it's going to play hockey or reading to kids, or giving folks some tickets or some donations or prizes. We try to do as much as we can in the community, and really my way of thinking is we don't say no to anybody. If someone comes to us with a legit request, we will fulfill it somehow.
And one thing I see the players that are heavily involved with each and every week, and that's visiting the schools as part of the Read with the Chiefs program.
Yeah, we do. And just before I talk about that, you mentioned the players. It's one thing I love seeing is our guys do a really good job of carrying on the tradition. So our veterans, they love getting out in the community. They love being a part. They know it's just part of being a chief is part of being in the community. So you see the young guys come in, or the new players traded here, maybe don't have quite the same mindset where they were before, whether it's minor hockey or a different organization, and they kind of just have no choice but become part of it. It's ingrained in their everyday life, which is kind of cool. But yeah, the Read with the Chiefs program has been going on for over a decade, and we visit over 1,000 kids each school year. Our players go to the school and they read a story, they sign some autographs, they answer questions, then they go play some floor hockey with the kids, and then each student receives 2 free tickets to a future Chiefs home game, which is also a lot of fun, as we have 4 or 5 schools come to the game each Read night, so it adds a good atmosphere to our building as well, where the crowd really gets into it with all those young kids in the audience.
The organization also does a lot with the golf tournament, and you can tell us what else with Salvation Army and local Salvation Army.
Yeah, Glenn Ringdahl is a big part of instituting the Salvation Army partnership here with the Chiefs, and you touched on the golf tournament. Every year we have a golf tournament at Chilliwack Golf and Country Club. All the proceeds go to the Salvation Army. The last couple of years has been for their truck, their transportation truck. They needed to get a new truck 2 years ago. And we came on board and helped them facilitate that. So that was kind of a proud moment for all of us involved, is helping the Salvation Army get a new vehicle. We also are proud to get out there and support the Salvation Army Christmas Kettles campaign. So our players will be heading out in December and manning the Christmas kettles, ringing the bells and asking for donations. And as well, our big night of the year is our Fill the Rink for the Food Bank night. So once a year in December, middle of December, the Christmas break, when folks are looking for something to do, they can attend a Chiefs game for only $5 if they bring a non-perishable food item. In the last couple of years, we've had crowds of close to, over 3,500, almost 4,000 here in attendance, and all of them bringing in food. And I know it's taken literally the entire game to transport the food from the concourse down to the truck in the Zamboni Bay area, and that's always fun to watch, as all the train of people and ushers and volunteers helping to get the food into the Salvation Army truck.
Anyone who comes to a Chiefs game knows a lot more goes on than just the game we see on the ice, and that's the intermission events, the pregame show, and things like that. And that's something that you're involved with as well. And we had a very unique one recently with the Chilliwack Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah, and you happen to be part of that as well, the board. And the Chilliwack's never had a Sports Hall of Fame. I know it's been years in the making. They've been trying to create this Sports Hall of Fame for at least 5, maybe even 7 years.
And Judy Fitzsimmons, the new president, had a meeting with Glenn Ringdahl, and then we got involved, and we decided to house the Hall of Fame right here at Prospera Center. So no better way to kick that off than to have the initial inauguration right here at the game in intermission. And those of you who are involved in junior hockey know how stressful it can be to do an intermission contest or what have you. But we had to induct three members, but one member was a team, so that involved a good 10 folk there. So he had to get everything organized and induct these people into the Hall of Fame and do it all in 6 minutes, which is always a fun challenge.
And as tough as that challenge was, and you pulled it off beautifully, it wasn't the toughest challenge you've ever had during an intermission. Take us back to, I'm going to say, the 03, 04, 04, 05 season.
I won't challenge your memory. Your
what happened that night?
You have more hair and a better memory than me, too. Well, that night we pulled off a wedding. Weddings have been done before in sports, before a game or after a game or the day of the game.
I think Vernon did one prior to a game back in the 90s.
You are correct. So Harv and I and Cam Jansen were down in Harv's room one night, and Cam let us know that he got engaged, and we were all fired up for Cam. That a boy, way to go. So we talked about where should we do this wedding, and somehow we were brainstorming, and Harv or somebody said, oh, well, Vernon had a wedding before the game. I'm like, well, we can do one better than that. Let's try doing it during the intermission. We all kind of sat there silent. Are you sure about that? Yeah, let's do it. So John Grisdale was good enough to grant us a bit of an extended intermission, but it was still only in total a 22-minute intermission. So with the ice clean, we had about 10 minutes to pull off an entire wedding, and we had the limo bring Cam on the ice. We had flowers. We had a big gazebo out there, and of course the red carpet, the long train of players with their sticks, and it was really, really cool, really emotional actually. It was kind of neat. The whole building went quiet when the wedding was on. That was the one big concern we had was, well, people start chirping and yelling, and you know, it's hockey, right? So some guy might have had a couple too many of these. And it's Chilliwack, there you go. But it went off flawlessly, I guess you could say, and that was a proud moment of our team that put that one on. We actually had the local Army base come out and help us with setting up, because we had to have one person per item to get it out there to make sure it got done in time.
Take us back to a couple of notable anthems prior to the game. I believe both were at the Chilliwack Coliseum.
Yeah, I guess the first one, Mauro Ranallo, folks might know that name. He's been a long-time announcer, host for various sports in BC and now in Canada and, well, throughout the world. He does pride fighting in Japan, and he works for TSN, and recently he did the Floyd Mayweather boxing event for HBO in Las Vegas. So anyways, big well-known guy now, but back when he wasn't so well-known, he was the Chiefs PA announcer. And one night, we're sitting down there and waiting for the anthem singer to show up, and it's like 6:58 and no anthem singer, 6:59 no anthem singer, 7 o'clock no anthem singer. So we're like, well, we better get the music guy to play the anthem. And Moro's like, no, I can take care of it. So there goes. Moro grabs the mic and sings the anthem. He wasn't prepared. He just grabbed the mic and sang it, and it was awesome. It was chilling.
No fear in that guy as ever. And a player sang the anthem one night.
Yeah, the last game of the season, we always have fan appreciation night, like a lot of the teams do. We always try to find a different wrinkle. And Matt Butcher is a very, very musically talented individual. And he and I had talked earlier in the year about getting him to perform at an intermission or after a game or something, and then we got talking, why not an anthem? And why not an anthem right before the game? Like, okay, so I had to really twist Harv's arm on that one.
I was just going to say, at this time, Harv must have been mellowing out a bit.
Yeah, he was. He's got a little bit less old school, kind of going the newish school. So he said, yeah, sure, go for it. We were playing pretty well. I think we had a good team that year, like he usually does. But so Matt Butcher skated out with the team. The starting lineups were announced, and Matt, in his full gear, took his helmet off, grabbed the mic, and sang the anthem, which was pretty awesome. That was a really good memory. And
of course, Matt's younger brother, Ben, with the team. Is he going to be out there singing the anthem?
Maybe in the drums or something. Go do something different. He can't sing it like Matt. He got to do something better.
Okay.
So maybe the drums or a saxophone or something.
Thanks again for joining me. We'll be right back after this with this week's Player Spotlight.
And this week's Player Spotlight is on Bo Piper from the Quiltem Express. Bo, you spent a lot of time at Shawtuck St. Mary's, a school that not a lot of people get to play at or even go to study. Only the elite play there. How was your time there?
I enjoyed playing there a lot. It was a great experience. Got to play with a lot of great players and had a ton of fun there.
And you also played with Nathan McKinnon during that time. How was that?
It was awesome, yeah. Got the opportunity to play on his team. He's obviously a great player. Drafted first overall, playing in the NHL right now. He's doing great. So very happy for him. But yeah, it was great to play with him. And just great to see him play. Like I played on the U16 team with him, and great to see him just progressed up from having a lot of success in the Canadian Hockey League and then now in the National Hockey League.
And can you talk a bit about the balance between academics and, of course, your hockey play there? I mean, from what we know as outsiders and as fans, those who don't go there, we know of certain NHLers who have gone there in the past, but we don't hear about their life outside of hockey at Shawtuck St. Mary's, as it is a school. How are you able to balance your academics?
I mean, pretty much there were two things. It was just school and hockey. It was nice, though, because during school hours, we actually had hockey practice. So we got to dedicate a lot of our time after school to homework and doing other things like that.
And now, especially in the USHL, you got a chance to play with your brother Cannon. Can you tell me a bit about that experience? Was that the first time in the USHL that you got to play with your brother?
Yeah, like I've played obviously with Cannon during my minor hockey days, but I didn't get to play with him too much at Shattuck since he was a grade ahead of me. But no, playing in the USHL with him that first year was awesome. And I feel like since then it's just been great because obviously we train during the summertime. And it's just been nice always having him there both on and off the ice. If I'm having trouble on the ice, he's always there. Like, I'm like, hey, you know, I didn't feel like I played too great. Like, did you see anything? And even off the ice, just because obviously moving away from home was tough. And it was great to have him there.
And also, I mean, you guys both played, as we just mentioned, the USHL, but you will be going on to the NCAA together. How was that? Was that one of the big decisions for yourself of picking a certain school over others because your brother Cannon was going to the same one?
Yeah, and actually it played even a bigger part for him because he had some offers to go in for this current year. And I'm very grateful for him that he chose to stay in the league so we could go on at the same time.
And do you have any ideas of what you want to take after your BCHL years are done and you're in university?
I'm not really too sure yet. I was leaning towards maybe architectural engineering, kind of in that field, but you know, I'm keeping my options open and just kind of see how it plays out.
And now for yourself, what was the decision like to come over to the BCHL from the USHL?
For both Ken and I, it was pretty tough. I mean, both leagues are awesome. But Ken actually train up here. We train with a guy named Tim Preston. He runs Impact Hockey, and we do a lot of our training up here over the summertime. And our head coach just actually came out to one of Tim's skates, saw us play, and we got talking to him afterwards. And we kind of had it in our minds kind of around that time, okay, maybe Indiana really isn't the place for us. And like obviously we were in conversation with our Indiana head coach, just kind of seeing where we'd fit in on his team. And we also got talking to our head coach here now, and so we just felt playing up here was a great fit for us. And so things just kind of played out nicely.
And do you find any major differences between the two leagues, the BCHL and the USHL?
To be honest, no. Yes, the USHL may have a bit deeper players, but the high-end talent here can easily compete with the high-end talent of the USHL.
Well, thank you so much for being this week's Player Spotlight.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That's it for the show this week. For more information on all junior sports in BC, please visit vbnsportsnetwork.com. Thanks again for watching. I'm your host, Jacob Esterbrook.